Hey Dale, how are you doing, man?
Hey, Machi, how are you, my friend?
Yeah, I'm well. I'm well. Good to hear you. So,
Yes.
I think you've got some questions about the assignment and the homework.
Yeah, a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. Enjoying going through it and learning new things, and it's not that difficult if you just follow a logical process. But yeah, I've got a couple of questions. I'm just going to share this over there for you, and
Yep,
then I'm going to read them out to you. Just tell me when you can see there. All right, can you see my screen?
I think I can see your screen, so that's fine. I'm going to switch off my video and yeah, okay, where would you like to start?
All right, so it's quite easy. I like the systematic structure, or the structure, should I say, for the development for the coding. Um, so I'm just going to you tell me if I'm wrong. So index HTML, doc type HTML is just to describe what type of doc it is, and then we start with HTML. Okay,
Mhm.
in closed brackets. We call those brackets, right?
Yeah. So that forms HTML tag.
Tag.
So yeah, we
Okay.
call them tags. So you're in the HTML tag, and then inside you can see how you've
The
got
head tag.
the opening and the closing HTML tag on the last line.
Yes, over there with a
They always,
slash.
yeah, exactly. They match up like that. So
Okay.
the head is the same, and whatever is within the head, it's inside of it. That's the way you look at it.
That's it. But my question is, some of the elements, are those called elements?
Yeah, we're looking at
Like
elements here. Yeah.
like a link.
Mm.
Um, and what was the other one? Some of the elements like link and which other one? I just and canvas. So they don't. Oh no. Link doesn't have a closing. So if I take script for example, so if you look at. Let me just remove my mouse there. So
Yep,
script src equals library script.js, and then it's got closed script. So
that's right.
the tag, the close tag, open tags / script close tag, but link doesn't. How come? So if you look at
Well,
link here, it ends just in one
that's right.
tag.
So some of the elements have to be closed and others don't. And we have a specification telling us which tags have to be closed and which tags don't have to be closed. I think that script tag is actually being closed optionally, so you can have it closed or you don't have to have it closed. Um,
Okay.
if you hover your mouse over the script element, you're going to get a tooltip from the editor, and you can click on the reference thing at the very bottom, and that takes you to one of the documentations. Now,
Yes.
this is the MDN web docs, which is on the Mozilla organization website, which is the guys that made Firefox the browser,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like a fairly reputable source of information. And in here, this is the documentation on what the tag is doing, what are the allowed attributes, which is like the source of the script,
Yes.
and how it. This is where the behavior is described.
Yes.
And well, you should read this. Maybe not on your day one of software development, but in
Yeah.
general, this is what you need to know if you want to write your own browser. If you're writing
Yes.
your own browser, then you implement all of those pages. If you're just putting together a game,
Yes.
then you just need to look at the examples, work out what it does. If you get it, great, use it. If you don't get it, read some more in more details. This is basically a manual to the script tag and to all the
Yes.
other tags if you open them.
Yes. Okay. So yeah, I see they talk about external element and inline element. Okay, and they do close that. I see with the examples they also
Yeah,
close it.
so what they
Okay.
did over there was, if you go back to the example, what
Yeah.
happened in the first example is this is the first use case where you have the script element with the source attribute. which is specifying an external file where the source of the JavaScript is. And that's what we are doing. Optionally, you've got the secondary example, which does not have the source attribute, but it has the body of the script between the start and end tags of the script element. So that's what you can do if you want to just smash out some basic inline JavaScript. We do it in separate files to keep them in order.
Yes, makes sense. Okay. All right. That was question one. Because I also noticed that, let me just see, Snow Strong is fine, Canvas is fine. Yeah.
So you can look at the, you've got on the line 5, you've got a link element, which is specifying the style sheet, which is the separate file. So again, the attribute name is different. It's called href rather than source for the script.
Which is short for hierarchy reference.
Well, I don't know what it is. You may know it.
No, I didn't. I'm taking a guess because href just seemed, because you're describing the hierarchy level where the document actually is. So library, which is the folder on the left there, which is the top level.
Yep.
And then it comes down to the document. So that, to me, that would be a hierarchy like level description.
Well, yeah, either that, or maybe it's ref stands probably for reference, and H might be a shortcut for HTTP, which is Hypertext Transfer Protocol, which is like the protocol that the web is based on. So if you hover over a link, and maybe that's a thing worth doing right now, you click on the reference. Right, that's how you normally operate. You need to find something out. Let's see. Let's scroll down to the href, and maybe they say what does it stand for. Is it reference? Is it hierarchical reference? Do they say if you just glance through it or not? They say you can link different things. You can link an icon. You can link style sheet, but. Well, like you don't have to know everything.
Yeah, it was just curiosity, that's all. Okay, so that was question one. And question two, I went on to style sheet. I did style as well.
Yeah.
And these tags over here, what did I want to ask in style.css? The hash board has a... Yeah, okay, so this tag, the type of tag that was used here versus the type of tag that was used here. What is the difference?
Very good question. Yeah. So in the style sheet, which is what we are looking at the moment, you've got a hash board, and hash has got a special meaning here, and board is just a word that I used. But it's a reference to something that exists into index.html. So if you go back to index.html, if we look at the canvas element, you can see that ID equals board. So all of the HTML elements, or most of the HTML elements, can have an ID. And ID is that attribute that gives the element a special identifier, and it's a string of your choice. It should be globally unique. So the reference I gave to the canvas over here, the identifier, is called board.
Yes.
And the browser understands that this canvas is called board. And the reason why I put hashtag in front of the word in the style sheet is that the meaning of the hashtag is to give the browser the idea that the word is referencing the identifier in HTML.
In HTML, okay.
Yeah. So that's one way of referencing an element from the style sheet into the HTML. And, while we are at it, we can make another quick demonstration. So, you can see any other tag over here. Let's say that if you look at the line number 10, the tag over here is H1,
Yeah.
and it has the word snake inside. So if you go back to the style sheet, and if you add a new line at the end,
Push enter.
yeah, enter here, and then just type in H1 and then open and close the curly braces.
Open and close the curly braces. Open and close,
Yep.
like so. Yeah.
And within the braces, you can type in something like color colon red within the braces, not after the closing brace.
Sorry. So let's just do that and go back in the braces. Color colon.
Whatever is the color that's your favorite.
Whatever is my favorite, black.
Well, that's not much of a demo because the word snake on the right hand side is already black by default.
Oh, okay. I see what you're doing.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go then change that to, let me close the curly braces. Okay. And then I'm going to put in colon and we choose blue.
Lovely. Yeah. So
voila, it changes. Okay.
See? How neat is that? So
Yeah. So in the style sheet, sorry, can I just say, in the style sheet, I am now describing the style for that would be used, the color that would be used for heading 1, which is H1.
Smashed it. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got heading 2 at the bottom here too, and I could do the same for heading 2. I would then inevitably also be able to describe the size of the text, the font size, the font type.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. You're working this out on the fly as we go.
Yes. Okay, that's awesome. That's good to know.
So this is exactly what it is, right? So the concept is that in the style sheet, you identify the element in probably 3 different mainstream ways, and there are probably plenty of secondary, smaller ways, but you either identify it through an identifier, which is through a hashtag, or you identify it through the element type, which is like H1, and that just says, it just says to the browser, if you come across H1 element, then display it in blue.
Yes.
And then there is a third, probably most popular option, which is called CSS class, and we can do that one as well. So if you type in a new line over here, type in a dot, just a symbol, yeah, and then call it foo, FOO. That's a word of your choice, and then open braces.
Open braces.
And then type in color colon red. Yeah. So what we've done over here is we defined a class that's called foo, and the dot notation gives that meaning to the browser. And now you can't see any difference because we haven't used it yet. But if you go back to index.html, and if you choose an element, let's say H2. So if you go to H2, and within the H2 tag, if you add a new attribute, so that's space, and then the attribute is class equals, and in double speech marks, you put foo, FOO. Yeah. So then what happened is you made the change, the browser detected you changed the source code, and it reloaded the game. And if you scroll down, what you get is to do, which is in red right now. Okay. Yes. So you applied the custom styling to an element, but you did it by referencing the element through the class name because you created the class foo. So this is if you want to make particular elements to stand out, but it's not an ID because IDs, they have to be globally unique and those can be reused. So if you look at the line 18, you've got a LI element.
Yes.
That's the second bullet point.
Yes.
So if you do class equals foo over here.
So class, let me just go there, space, class equals foo.
Yeah. Yeah, it reloaded, so scroll down and see what happens. You see? So over here, the first bullet point is in red. But it happened through application of the CSS class called foo. So, you know, foo is just a random name that I gave it, but, you know, your class could be important, right? So any element that you think is important, you decorate it with class equals important, and that makes it red. And that's your style, right? And then you can also say that, you know, it needs to be slightly larger or it needs to be bold and red. So that's how it goes.
Okay, lovely. Then that leads me on to the next question, which is, so I like the structure, and you see you start with HTML and it shows that HTML starts and ends there, shows that head starts and ends there, body starts and ends there, div starts and ends there, UL will start and end there. But you notice within, when it starts, then it goes to a space, then head will start, and then another space, and link and script will start, and then back to inline with head. So if I go down here to div strong is not space.
That's right. Yeah. Okay. Good point. So this is what you're pointing out is the indentation. And the indentation is only for the user to be able to read the code better. So the pattern over here is that if the tag is across multiple lines, then whatever is within the tag, you indent it by one tab.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense.
Totally makes sense, yeah.
Cool.
So I rewrote the code on on a notepad just for practice to see if I remember everything.
Good job.
If it made sense to me. And I also wrote it on a paper. And when I did the tabs, then that's when I noticed that strong was not indented from div. Or well, strong was not indented because div starts and ends there. Sorry. Strong was not indented. Yes, because it's not part of div, hey. It's on its own. Okay, I see. So if we had strong open and closed, then use keyboard arrows to direct stakes would be indented. So if I had it inline, if I had it like that, it would automatically then indent.
I think the indentation depends on the editor, the text editor you're using. So I wouldn't say it's automatic. I would say that if the editor you're using is advanced, it can do it for you. If it's not advanced, then it probably wouldn't do it for you. But if you work with code quite a lot and you sit in the code all day long, it's actually quite nice to make it very easy to read. And that's the way human works. So you can see that you've got the strong on one line because it's a one-liner, so just put it in one line. Same with H2 and H1, and the same with script. There is either no content within the tags or there is very little content, like there is only one word in the H1. So what's the point of breaking this down into 3 lines if you can have it on one line? But the convention is that if you happen to have multiple lines within a tag, So you've got UL, and that has 3 lines inside.
Yes.
Or if your line, there's only one line within the tag, like line 12, which is the canvas,
Yes.
but it is so important that you want to make it to stand out, then you put it on a line itself, right? There is nothing stopping you from collapsing that div on the line 11 into one liner with the canvas inside it. You can do it right now. You can do it later. You don't have to do it.
So I must go and put it like.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's fine. It's valid. The browser doesn't really look at the white spaces most of the time. So it's not like it's a syntax error. However, it's just nicer to read if you've got this convention. And we'll talk about conventions many, many more times, because if you look at this, I think that's easier to read. And it's only about your convenience, because most of this stuff is about making it easy for you to do your job very well.
Okay. Perfect. It makes total sense.
Comes to your mind?
No, that makes total sense. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, so I've gone through and I understand from the top down head. In the header, we're specifying to link to the style sheet and to link to the script document, or to reference the script document. I don't know how you would explain that. And then in the body would be the actual, what is being displayed on the screen on the side. Okay. And within there, that would determine the colors, which would be referenced, and the sizes and so forth, which would be referenced back to style.css, like we've explained. So that means I basically have a basic understanding of what's going on there. I feel comfortable to move on to script.js, which I will now do in the next few days, and then I'll get back to you if I have any more questions.
Yeah, this is amazing. I love that. Well done. Good job for looking into it on your own. And looking forward to our next catch up about the script.js.
100%. Okay, I'm going to go back to my screen, stop sharing there. How's that?
Back to the camera mode.
There we go.
Good stuff.
I can see you.
Yeah.
All right.
That's the point. Cool.
Perfect, my friend. Thank you very much for your help. I appreciate it.
Be good and catch up soon.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Bye-bye.